good, that is recording. Hey, happy... Okay, I'm recording this on Tuesday, but you probably won't see it until Wednesday if you're a patron, and if not, you probably won't see it till Friday, depending on how quickly I can get this up. But, hey, I'm getting the pre and post show collections and blooper things back up again, because I like doing that, though we haven't had as many bloopers in the past couple weeks. And I realized that I didn't have, like, a intro or outro for those. They just sort of end right now, and, yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen it yet, here's the schedule for this week. And here's the pre and post show and some random bloopers, and or I guess some of them aren't technically bloopers, they're just like takes that I freeformed a little bit and decided to redo. But yeah, enjoy. Oh, and yeah, if you support on Patreon or Coffee, you technically get these a few days early, because while the rest of the stuff I do is news, these don't... I don't feel bad about setting a time gate on them, I guess? Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, time to get all the shit set up. Morning, all. Sorry about that. I wasn't kidding about the... I finished the script actually before start time, but then I remembered humans need to eat food. So I had to run and go make breakfast for... well, I had to go run and make breakfast for myself, and then also make breakfast for Jules, because it would be kind of silly to only make breakfast for myself when it takes exactly as much effort to do both. Hey, Kira. I also have coffee. Well, actually my second cup of coffee, because I couldn't sleep great. Probably because I didn't have Adderall for a couple of days, and had it yesterday. And I think basically gave myself a tolerance break. So while my brain was incredibly tired and wanted to sleep, my body was not on board with that plan last night. So that was fun, which I've talked about it before, but I'm one of the fun folks who, like, once I'm properly back in tune with Adderall, it actually helps me sleep. And if I take it when tired initially, it puts me to sleep. Unfortunately, it doesn't work great if I take it as intended at, like, 8 a.m. when I get up after like 3 days without taking it. That's when the I don't get to sleep thing happens. Okay. Script is done. I'm trying to remember if there's anything. I think there's maybe like one tweak I want to make, but I don't recall off the top of my head, so we might have to do that live. There are... I am referencing visuals in at least one thing, so I'm sorry about that, because I won't have it to throw up. Actually, I can show y'all right now, though. Because I think it's important. Also because I'm going to need it eventually anyway. Okay, technically this is a WebP, but honestly, I have shit that makes WebPs work in all of my programs, so I'm not that worried about it. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. One of my... Oh, I just downloaded this somewhere weird. Where did I download this to? Okay, that's in Muttday Morning News Images, which is actually a good thing. It's just not where I thought it was going to go. Oh, good, it's not huge. This is Border Patrol, God, he keeps getting called Chief, but he's not the Border Patrol Chief, I just wrote it down. Border Patrol Commander Greg, Bovino. That is not a generated image of him or anything. That is a thing that he fucking wore, oh, where did he wear this to? And yes, that is a, like, specifically intended to evoke the, like, Bulgarian, Hungarian greatcoats, fairly common throughout fascist aesthetics. But I'm trying to remember where the fuck he wore this, because there's a bunch of pictures of this, because this was a thing that he posted, among others. Like, there's a bunch of them that are done in black and white, too. Where did he wear this, though? Like, this was a day or two before his meeting with Sara Ellis. And where was the picture taken? God, they keep using this picture in things, but I can't find... Oh! This picture was taken by CNN when he came to meet with them at CNN's bureau in Chicago. This is what he was wearing. Very amusingly, he's also often photographed alone because he is a full head shorter than the Border Patrol guards that seemingly he requires around him at all times, because he's really leaning into the fashy aesthetic, I guess. But yeah, he's not acting director. He is who? I don't believe they have an acting director, but I'll admit I don't remember Border Patrol's ridiculous ass structure. Wait, where's my phone? Because I can cheat and go check Wikipedia, because look, when I realized that you can just download the Wikipedia app and also make it so that you can just search that, it makes things so much easier than trying to search on Google now. Yeah, the executive is the chief, who is Michael W. Banks. Though, this is the confusing and annoying thing. So technically, United States Border Patrol is an agency run by Michael W. Banks and is a sub-agency under U.S. Customs and Border Protection, which also gets shorthanded to Border Patrol a lot, which supervises United States Border Patrol, CBP, Office of Field Operations, CBP Air and Marine Operations, and is run by Rodney S. Scott, who's commissioner, and John Maudlin, deputy commissioner. Okay, let me get rid of that one. I did remember the one image that I need to do, which is I didn't do the cutout version of my schedule, which I throw up at the end of the stream so that I can show off schedule and things. Oh, I also need to update it because it's not MBT anymore, it's MST. Oops. It is MST now, right? Oh no. It is MST, right? Uh-oh. Yes, we are now on MST. Cool. Yeah, I realized that after posting all my crap. I was like, oh no, I made the thing wrong. But, oh well, I'm committed. Oh, wrong program. There we go. ST Mountain Sound Time. I finally remembered that it was no, don't make it worse. I remember things right now. Fucking menace. Okay, and then I just need to swap a couple of things to export it properly. Did this get shunted very slightly off to one side? It's annoying. That one. Okay. I don't know why I don't just group these stars together so I can do that all at once, but whatever. Okay. Export as a PNG because I need the transparency layer. Yup. Cool. Okay. Save. There we go. I was trying to get the slightly more of the orange light coming through. I think I need to throw... There's another one of these studio lights, and I'm considering throwing it over here, but we'll see. Hey, Gooba, I'm doing pretty good. Also, thank you very much for doing the Discord thing. Sorry, I'm doing my pre-show bits, which normally I do off-stream, but I'm kind of delayed today, so... Yay! I am doing as well as can be, considering that I didn't sleep, really, but otherwise I'm actually doing pretty good. Although this ear is itching me something fierce. I've got the script done. It's only like 4,000 words, I think. I need to double check it, but I think, it's 4,025 words, but hey. One day I'll maybe be able to get a script under 4K words again, but I think technically I did last week, but I also added a bunch of random crap to it, so... I did copy and not cut, right? Okay, good. I accidentally did Control A, Control X, I guess technically Command because iPad, but whatever, some number of weeks ago, and regretted it because the teleprompter app that I use, unless I pay, I think, a monthly sub to it, which no, can only save, 5 scripts? 1, 2, 3, 8 scripts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that means that I definitely accidentally lost one of my scripts, or it's one of these that I haven't overwritten, so who knows. I try and save all of them mostly for my own sanity, and because, I don't know, I was trained to archive shit, so I do. Okay, so I don't think this will need any tweaks, but I am going to close this for a little bit because the battery is not fully charged. Wow, I can probably turn this light down if I'm completely honest. I forget how different it is when I film in the morning, because this room has a lot of natural light, despite the fact that I have the blinds drawn on all the windows. But this room also, hang on, has 2 west-facing windows, so it gets really good natural sunlight throughout a lot of the day, right up until the point where I'm usually laying in bed, trying to write or read, which inevitably is when the sun is like spearing through the blinds on one side, directly where the screen that I'm trying to read is. I forgot to bring that down. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. I thought I forgot to bring this microfiber cloth down because, mostly I use it to clean my glasses, but I don't remember what the name is, but there are like 3. I think it's a derivative. I think it's divisible by 3, whatever it is. Number of like kinds of sweat that humans can generate. Like, not that any given human does, but just like your sweat can fall into a couple of different categories, and it's based on the same thing that like affects how your body generate, or the kind of stuff that you generate for like earwax and saliva, I think it is. And I don't have the kind that like is incredibly acidic, because I do know that's a thing where it's like some people have sweat that will just like, I don't know, actually know if it's acidic, but it is in some way corrosive. So it will eat through stuff like a mouse if you use it for long enough. Instead, I just have the kind that's like really oily and grimy, and that means it's part of why I use an Apple Pencil, is because that way I don't have to touch the screen as much, because my fingerprints are gross and are very annoying to remove. It's also why I like this, but I also just like having a keyboard when I'm typing, so meh. Need a fountain of mountain, downton, countin, rountain. Half of those I don't think were words. I don't think half of those counted as were actually words. Let's go with that. But it won't be until like Christmas. Wait, bet what won't be until Christmas? Because I'm not saying no. I don't know what specific thing won't be here till Christmas, or won't happen until Christmas. Getting under 4K words. I mean, let's be honest here. I don't actually try to. In fact, hang on. This is a silly thing. I have been trying in my attempts to, one, improve my handwriting because it's god-awful ugly, and also my memory, to start doing a lot of my initial stuff on paper. Partially because it lets me get some of the bad ideas out first, but also it's just physically easier to quickly jot down, this thing, than it feels even on the iPad sometimes, especially because, well, yes, technically I could try using the like scribble feature, or there's another thing for writing that I just don't recall. With it, I don't love the way those work because it's not a one-to-one connection, I guess. And if you haven't used an iPad with an Apple Pencil or I think some of the other styluses also work with it, but there's basically a thing where it tries to parse what letters you're writing and then format them into a thing by guessing what they are and cleaning them up. And it's just like, no, I don't want you to do that because you're almost always wrong. But like, I think this was the one from... Oh yeah, this was the one from last week specifically because I was hunting through all of the donors to the East Wing demolition thing. Whereas this week I did not do as much on this because for some reason Okay, so I announced that I was spinning off Pet Play into its own show, and the hope was I would have it out yesterday. And the problem being, I obviously didn't, But that meant I spent too much of yesterday working on it. And the key issue with that plan was that, I guess I should also explain for anyone not aware, Pet Play was originally the subsection of this show where I talked about like arts and culture and video games and that sort of shit. I decided to spin it off into its own show, initially because the hope was, oh, I'll be able to talk about more positive things. And then I decided to do it the week that a bunch of people were fired from The Gamer, when a bunch of people were fired from Amazon Game Studios and Twitch, the week that Halo Campaign Evolved was announced for the PS5, which led to GameStop making a weird post about ending the console wars, which resulted in the fucking White House quote tweeting that and claiming it as another one of the wars that Trump has ended. And that turned into a whole thing of him posting Halo memes. And then that turned into the Department of Homeland Security referring to immigrants as the flood and using Halo imagery to advertise joining ICE to wipe out the flood. In a clear violation of the Hatch Act, by the way, which I stress this at least once in this script too, but hey, I just want to make it clear that, like, the Hatch Act is just violating it is just an open violation of a federal law. Like, we're just living through a time where every fucking department within the US government is openly violating the Hatch Act. And that's fucking bizarre, but okay. And part of this ended up also turning into a mildly brain-broken quest when I heard about ex-Amazon VP Ethan Evans' LinkedIn post, which, despite the fact that it's getting shared around now, he actually posted that back in February. He also has not worked for Amazon since 2022? It's 2022 or 2023. Where he mentioned the thing about how Amazon Games, which then became Prime Gaming, which is now Amazon Luna, he technically never worked on Amazon Luna, to be clear. Maybe not never, because there should have been some overlap depending on, I don't remember when he left and when Luna launched in 2022. But either way, he had no direct ties to Luna specifically, to my knowledge. But I went to go look into that claim that they were intending to compete with Steam, because one, that's absurd on its face, because no one in the video game space was aware that they were trying to compete with Steam. And two, because it's just a really bad competitor to Steam, because it's not even... Okay, so Amazon Luna was launched specifically, I would argue, positioned as a competitor to Google Stadia, which has failed already. In fact, I think it was shuttered 2 years ago? I'm pretty sure Stadia has been shuttered longer than it existed. Where Stadia's selling point was you get the controller or some sort of like device. I don't remember if it was the controller or like a machine or what, but you get something and it's theoretically cheaper than a console. And instead of it playing games, 2020, okay, it was just like, hang on, that can't be right. 2023, okay. Instead of playing the games on the console, they're streamed to your console from a machine elsewhere. And this is not a new concept. Like, in the script that I've already written for Pet Play, which that was part of the issue, is I finished the fucking Pet Play script and then went, oh fuck, I don't have time to record and do this whole thing today. Plus now I need to start working on the Muttday script. Fuck. You're less than 3 years old at the time? Wait, huh? Oh, it was. Okay, that makes much more sense. I I believe you had to pay a subscription fee to Google Stadia and then buy the games, with the weirdness then being you also don't really own them and can't play them on anything else, and if Google Stadia's platform goes away, what do you do? Like, yes, that's arguably also an issue with like Steam and basically everything that isn't like itch.io, and paradoxically buying certain games through Amazon, but not Amazon Luna. Like, technically, I own the Ultimate Edition of Zoo Tycoon 2? I think it's 2, which I personally like Zoo Tycoon 1 better, but Zoo Tycoon 2 looked better, so that I got through just the normal Amazon site and downloaded it because that's how it works. Like, there's no launcher or anything. Well, I guess there is technically a launcher for the program, but there's no like launcher to verify through my fucking Amazon account that I own it or anything like that. So naturally, Google Stadia had a lot of issues with it because of that, and I believe they ended up refunding literally every cent that had ever been spent on it, aside from maybe buying the consoles. And Luna came out in 2022 with really weird, bad, inconsistent, and just not terribly present advertising as sort of a competitor to that, where, yeah, it's a streaming thing. You don't own these games or like have a console that can play them, but you are able to play them through your Amazon like Fire Stick, or if you are a fool and have a Fire TV like I am, I hate it so much, or through your fucking web browser, which is really funny if you're trying to use, say, your phone, because you can run Amazon Luna games on your phone, but at least for iPhone, there's no app or anything, which that's not actually an inherent issue, but the way that they want you to do it is by opening up Safari, then making Luna I don't remember what it's called, but basically you can make it a pseudo app by like adding the thing to your phone's homepage, and it becomes a pseudo app. This is also the only way to use, like, if you have Fansly or OnlyFans, because they contain 18 plus content, so they don't have apps on the Apple App Store. And since, despite the fact that in at least one court case, Apple was actually required to allow sideloading now, though I think that was only in Europe, the only way to make them work with like a sort of app wrapper is essentially to do this thing where you load the page through Safari as a pseudo app. It works just fine. It's a little strange to do for those. It makes no fucking sense to do for Amazon Luna, because weirdly enough, there is an Amazon Luna app. It's for the controller? How that works, I don't completely understand. And I have not looked into that part yet, but because it's just Luna Controller, which has weirdly high reviews too. I think it's specifically for... No, it's not. I was going to say, I think this is specifically for the new Game Nights stuff that they added. I didn't remember they did Fire phones, but now I'm also remembering the Windows 8 phones. I was about to say, I was wondering if this was specifically pushed for the new Game Nights stuff that they added 2 weeks ago, but no, this app is more than 3 years old because it has a review from 3 years ago. Also, I don't understand why this app has 4.7 stars when the first 3 reviews are 2 and 3 stars, but so I just don't know what this does then. The Luna Controller app allows you to set up and manage your Luna controllers and play Luna games while using your phone via the phone controller. With the Luna Controller app, you can register Luna controllers to your Amazon account. Can you not do that otherwise? Set up your Luna controllers to connect to Wi-Fi and enable Cloud Direct. What's that? Play games on Luna using touch inputs on your mobile device using phone controller. I can do that by using your weird sideloady make Luna a fake app, but okay. Add friends to your local Luna gaming session using guest mode. Manage the Cloud Direct Wi-Fi connection. What is that? Manage your Luna controller Bluetooth connection, update the software of your Luna controllers, check battery status. Why can't... Look, the fact that we can't check battery status on controllers is horseshit. Switch between Cloud Direct and Bluetooth. Is Cloud Direct just a weird connection instead of using Bluetooth then? To get help for common troubleshooting problems. What the fuck is Cloud Direct? Cloud Direct technology sends gaming inputs over Wi-Fi and faster response, seamless movement between screens. Okay, so it's just another way of connecting that isn't the... Okay. What the hang on. Oh, that's gonna annoy me forever. Hang on. Are these mock-ups, or is this actually an asymmetrical... Or is the... Hang on. I can't tell if the Luna controller is off-center, or if all the images of it just look wrong, but it looks like it is off-center, such that the Amazon Luna button, the microphone button, and the whatever the hell they're calling start and select and whatever the are not centered and are very slightly off to the left. And I can't tell if that's because these are all visual image mock-ups or what. Anyway, when I first learned about Luna, I thought that the controller was a necessity. So, like, that was the way that they were getting money for it, was like, yeah, you have to buy our fucking $70 controller to use these. And then I started looking into it for pet play, and it just got so much dumber because I don't understand how that service is supposed to work. And I think it is potentially a litigable just scam because, okay, first of all, you can buy games, but none of them are games you can buy from Amazon. They're games that you can buy from the 3 companies that they have partnerships with, EA, Ubisoft, and GOG. I don't understand why there are 2 different groups of people who call it GOG and or GOG, and I don't know where that delineation came from, and it throws me. But all of them are games that you can just buy on those services without using the Amazon Luna site, and if you link your account, you can just stream them through Luna anyway, which still makes no sense, because why would you have bought them otherwise, like, prior, when you could, like, theoretically you would have bought them and, you know, had plans to play them because you had a console, or, well, I guess in these cases wouldn't be a console, it would be PC, but you had a thing able to play them. So, okay, that continues to create confusion, but sure, you can use Amazon Luna to do that, provided you have a Amazon Luna basic subscription, which if you have Prime, you automatically have, or you can, again, if you have the Amazon Luna basic, you can... It's standard. I kept calling it basic in my script, and I actually need to go through and change that because it's Amazon Luna standard. And if you have standard, you can place something like 67? I had this math worked out, but it's in my script now, so now I don't need to remember it. 65. You can place 65 of the games already, and paying for premium, which is an extra $10 a month, gets you an additional 106 games, though several of them are falling off, and in fact, I think I said Pet Play goes live on Thursday. One of the games I know for sure will have dropped off by then, because one of them I happen to notice is dropping off on the 6th. So yeah, I am gonna make sure to note that, actually. I might have to go back through this to double check which ones, because I know a couple others were falling off too, though not on the same day. This page is just the games that require Amazon Luna Premium, because you can't check. Their site is set up specifically so that if you go to look at what is included in Amazon Luna Premium, you can sort it by most played, another really arbitrary designation, and then A through Z. But no matter what you pick, it includes all of the games also included in Amazon Basic, or Luna Basic. So you have to go standard, Luna Standard. So you have to go through and check each fucking one. And because they set up their site specifically to make this a pain in the ass, if you click on one, you can't, like, they have the things set up where you can't open it in a new tab. You can't, so you have to go to the page. then see if it's on premium or standard, then go back and you get popped to the top of the screen with everything on it. So you have to scroll back down to where you were and go through again, which is why this took hours. Fucking hour. It was literally 2 hours, I think. It was actually probably closer to like an hour and a half, but it took a fucking while, especially because there's almost no consistency about like what games are in what category. Like if they're in the Game Nights bundle, which was one of the 2 groups added on October 22nd, then those are all included in standard. Everything added on 22nd is included on standard, which leads to fun situations where like Sonic Mania is included in standard, but you know what isn't? Well, first of all, this one that was under T, because their sorting is fun, Team Sonic Racing, but it also didn't include, because these are all in premium, Sonic Colors, Sonic Frontier, Sonic Superstars. When I do this in Pet Play, I intend to have what year these games came out, because want to know 2 of the games that stood out to me the most, that they're part of the service you have to pay extra for. 2 of the games that Tommy Tellerico did the soundtracks for, Earthworm Jim 1 and 2. And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that game also owned by a homophobic or transphobic shithead? Because I'm pretty sure it is. I just don't recall off the top of my head, but there's a thing scratching at my brain about it. The other one that I was utterly broken reading through was because it's Disney, Disney does their thing where like all of their games are Disney and then the name, or in a couple of cases, Disney and Pixar, Disney Planes, Disney Universe, Disney Brave, and Disney Wall-E all require the premium subscription, but not Disney Cars. So it was the most like, oh no, why are they all like this? Or like Lego Indiana Jones requires premium. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle that like came out this year or last year? I don't remember. I feel like it was this year, but this year has been 9 months that felt like a fucking decade. So, or I guess 11 months that felt like a fucking decade. I was trying to lay the foundation for acclaim cloud gaming because there's a surprising number of people who believe cloud gaming. See, but that's just it. It's not. It's never been, because this is another joke that I make in the Pet Play script. Back in 2011, I waited in line for like 2 hours for an OnLive console at PAX Prime. I think I even still own it somewhere. I've eventually gave away the controller to someone because it stopped being able to sync with a bunch of my shit. But I'm pretty sure I still have that brick-ass console around here somewhere because people keep trying to push it and it's never worked, because it turns out the only thing worse than not owning the games that we're playing because we're renting them through some sort of hellish IP system is not even having them downloaded physically on your machine and instead streaming them from another fucking service that could be taken away at any moment. Okay, sorry. The dog is like right behind here. He's not on, even if I move the pillows or anything, he won't be on camera, but he's passed out, and I just keep double checking to make sure that he's breathing because I worry, and he's concerning me because he's still, like, he's not lethargic. Oh, sorry, I've sat myself real stupid for too long. He's not, like, lethargic anymore, but he is having active, like, muscle atrophy to the degree that his face is looking really skeletal, and it's very concerning. So I keep just I was legitimately afraid that I was going to wake up this morning and he just wouldn't be here anymore, so yay. A lot of stuff. One, he's 13, but we're not actually sure entirely what specifically happened, but he was okay, back in September, the cat had a urinary blockage that was super fun and expensive to deal with, and he also needs to go back to, well, he needs to go to a non-emergency vet for his vaccines checkup and to get standard level labs done. And once he was mostly sort of sorted and out of the woods, then Oliver started having like issues with weakness and lethargy, and then he couldn't eat. And I happened to already have a appointment coming up for his annual physical, so took him in, and they basically put him on, or we also did blood tests too at that point, and discovered that he had like ridiculously low platelets, ridiculously low red cell count, and while he was presenting with some signs of an infection, he had no raised white cell count. So the vet basically went, this could be an autoimmune thing, which means it's either something that we can treat or it's something that we can't treat at all. And we can do testing to get more specifics, but also based on the issue, because all of those signs could also point to like internal bleeding, which he has no other indicators of, and they also checked to see like he hadn't swallowed something that was like plugging him up or anything, and basically decided, okay, I'm trying to remember the name for it. We've got a pamphlet downstairs, but basically it's sort of like a cat and dog equivalent to like fibromyalgia, where some causes are known, or even like migraines, where it's like some things that cause this issue are known, but it's also a lot of the time just used as a blanket. There is an issue here and we don't really know what's causing it, but we can tell what the symptoms are, so we can try and treat around it. So that's basically what it was, what we settled on. And the treatment was a month of antibiotics in case it was actually an infection that was being covered by something else. And at the time, a kind of high dose of steroids. He's still at kind of a high dose for his body weight, but it's been tapered down a little bit. And after like literally a day, he was able to move around again, and because he could not stand, he was able to move around again, and after a little bit was kind of able to eat. We were able to get him to eat like non-kibble, and now he's back to eating kibble and he's moving around mostly fine, but there is increasing muscle atrophy on his shoulders and somewhere on his legs specifically, such that he's occasionally started doing, not occasionally, he kind of regularly now does the like pibble, like wide stance to maintain his balance, because his shoulders are getting weaker. The hope is that that is a side effect not of whatever he has, but of the steroid treatment. So as we taper him off of it, the hope is that it will stop getting bad and, you know, start improving. But yeah, he's worrying me. Just he can move up and down the stairs now, but like existing leaves him panting a lot of the time, and his face is getting really skeletal. But yeah, we'll see. I'm maintaining hope, but yeah. Yeah, my life is fun, and I'm trying to look at the bright side a lot, okay? Oh, crap, I've been doing the pre-show for a fucking hour. I'm so sorry. Okay, I have the schedule set. I need to get myself set up for how I want to be posed for this. You can go away. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with my hair, but I don't actually know if I have like a good thing I want to do. Also, this dress is looking like a deeper color than it necessarily is, and I want to see if I can tweak that at all, but I don't think so. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I'm tweaking a lot of different things too, because basically this is part of why I like this camera. Is I get a lot of granular control that a lot of webcams don't want to give you, where it's like I can adjust my contrast, saturation, sharpness, and then I can adjust both the shutter speed and the a compensation for the shutter speed. Because like right now, this is actually running. This is actually running at 200. Technically, it's grabbing 200 images a second, and then I have the compensation aggressively turned down or set to basically offset the fact that if I were to let this be at normal compensation, I would be ridiculously washed out. So like right now I'm at negative 2.2. This is going to be horrifying. That's 0. That's why I don't do that. Because it's horrifying and just, it's very bright and garish, so, okay. Part of the issue, too, is just that I have, and I could offset this by being better about actually doing makeup, but I have obviously kind of shiny skin, so, or, you know, doing makeup. Doing makeup would be the actual trick there to offset the fact that light bounce off shiny skin, but whenever, that would be too easy. I'm so sorry. Just, I don't know why this is on my desk, but, because I know I didn't get this out specifically for the fact that I've been playing ZA. This was just on my desk. Okay. Okay, good. I thought I wrote something in the cold open, but I wasn't 100% sure, so. Cool. Can you tell that I'm desperately trying to make sure I don't accidentally flash the camera? I'm not super worried about it, to be honest. I'm just being extra careful, but... Okay. Matt. Thought that would match this dress perfectly. I don't... Part of the benefit of this dress is that I can... I am literally wearing... If I wanted to be, which I am not technically doing, but if I wanted to be, I could just wear this dress. Like, I mercifully have exactly enough tit that I don't need to wear a bra or anything with it, and it's long enough that if I didn't want to wear anything else underneath it, I wouldn't technically have to. I don't do that, but I really fucking like this dress. Like, it looks like a really nice dress, too, especially with, like, this goofy thing. Although, I wish this was more open. Like, it just... The string for it is just very taut, I guess. So it doesn't... This could open more than it does. But yeah, I really like this dress. I got it like thrifting fairly early in transition. Also, I am going to start the real thing. I'm just waiting for this ad to be done. I wonder if it's the same brand, because I'm trying to remember. It's not a brand that I recognize. Or not... It's not one that I recognized when I got it, and I don't think I've seen it since, so... Yerp, I have coffee too, because technically this is my second cup of coffee today, but hey, I have let it get cold because I'm not smart, but otherwise. In theory, I'm sitting like this so I can try and like sit up straight-ish, because the problem is that sitting up straight for this camera actually ends up looking like I'm slouching, or at least to me it does, so. So we've got, what, a minute and a half left of this ad, and then we will... do the proper thing, which will require having to pop quickly over to the starting screen again, just so I can get the like music thing. But oh, this is a silly thing that I am going to talk about on Pet Play, but I just want to bring it up for anyone, I don't know, who is aware of the Proto Men but not paying attention to them, because I mean their last, I would argue, new thing was back in 2015. And even then, I would argue that if you're specifically there for their rock operas, their last new thing was 2009. But the Proto Men have been, like, on YouTube once a week since the 21st of October. 21st? No. Was that the second one? I feel like that was the second one. Have been putting out... No, that was the first one. One-off videos of Act 3 songs, because Act 3 is coming now. If you have no idea who the Proto Men are, I I don't know how to sell them besides they're a rock opera group doing music very heavily inspired by, but also way more interesting than any Mega Man thing. Because, like, Act 1 is legally not Mega Man. I don't think he's ever actually specifically called Mega Man or Rock. I don't recall. Doing the fight against Dr. Wily and realizing that, like, the history that he's been told is a lie. The second one is Act 2 is a prequel about how the world became the way it was, or the way it is. And then just kind of out of nowhere a couple of weeks ago, or I guess technically about a month ago, they started pushing a bunch of stuff for Act 3, including the fact that it's up for pre-order on Bandcamp, and you can get if you pre-order it now for $10, you get the first 8 songs in the album, and the other 7 will release when it comes out on January 9th, I think. So I'm definitely including that in Pet Play because it's a good positive thing, and I don't know, more people should know about the Proto Men. They're fucking kick-ass. They are one of 2 bands that I had to make sure in my head that I hadn't actually seen a third band. One of only 2 bands and or concerts that I have ever been to in my entire fucking life, because I am not a musically inclined goblin, but I saw them here actually in Denver because they played a bar, I want to say on like Broadway, and then I saw the Trans-Siberian Orchestra at one of the stadiums here. Ball Stadium? I think it was Ball Stadium. And I don't remember what sport that stadium's actually for, but whatever. Okay, let's get started. I will have to reheat that coffee at some point, but whatever. Okay. This is Covered, one of the most vile developments to erupt from one of the fintech industry's cancerous pustules I've personally ever seen. Let me just read from their ex-post. We have officially launched Fire Emoji, Bet on Your Bills, OnlyFans, Child Support, and last night's Uber. Wipe them from your credit card by playing your favorite casino games, all from the comfort of our app. No VPN, no crypto deposits. This app is available on the fucking Apple App Store, but again, OnlyFans and Fansly can't have apps because adult content is big and scary, but gambling on your bills isn't. Fine. Sure, whatever. As another aside, every time I have to write or say his name, the imp that lives in my brain insists I need to make a joke about how Tucker Carlson is the sort of name I expect a cis author to give a trans girl as a dead name before having her somehow forced to return to using it. Which, now that I think about it, is exactly what John Boyne did in the one book he's ever written that had a trans character. What was their name? And yet another $1.4 billion was pulled from the shipbuilding and conversion budget. Fun fact, Trump is also directly responsible for a wild expansion in that budget because he got really obsessed in his first presidency with these incredibly ineffectual ship designs referred to as the littoral picket cruisers, where I'm saving this for the post show to be clear, but they suck, they don't work for purpose, and amusingly, the Trump administration hired 2 different firms to make them, with the idea being that they would pick the best design between the 2 of them, and then decided not to pick and just kept having both firms make them anyway, and then they kept breaking and getting mothballed, and like it was supposed to be like a complete refit for the entire US Navy with these customizable littoral picket ships that they got infatuated with. I think it was a Swiss design, Swiss or Swedish, where the gun mounts and everything were modular and they could be changed to fit for purpose for whatever it was. Their primary goal was to use them as minesweepers, except that the only way that they figured out how to attach the minesweeping device to them was to drag it behind them where it gets affected by the wake of the ship so they don't work. Neither of them work, by the way, but one of the designs is even worse because it also can't be worked on by sailors because Trump and Biden both let, it was Lockheed Martin, and I don't remember who the other company was behind the other one, let both of them get away with maintaining a bunch of the systems as proprietary, so they can't open the engine to repair it. They have to, on a ship that is expected to be at sea, call contractors from these military development companies to come out to the ship, theoretically, potentially in combat situations, to do the repairs, which they also keep not being able to do. Like, literally, one of the repair attempts actually ended up completely destroying the engine of one of these by just flooding it with salt water. It was hilarious. Back in 2023, actually. Not only is Trump starving USians and forcing a government shutdown over his own wanton cruelty, he can't even manage... Damn it. That, I'm sure, came through on the mic. That was Oliver getting up and, like, shaking. But the real clincher was probably the ad Cuomo didn't delete on October 30th. Again, clearly made with regurgitative AI. This one, I'm just a shill, riffs on the Schoolhouse Rock song, I'm Just a Bill, albeit with Mpreg? I wish that was a joke, by the way. That's real. It also doesn't make very much sense. I've watched it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And it shows all the normal signs of generative AI just... Oh, look, there's a bunch of artifacting, and the audio doesn't sync up, and these are just copywritten characters, and also very clearly a cartoon generative thing of Mamdani, but okay. Hey, Nobuyuki. Oh, sorry, I needed a little bit of a break after reading those two through. Also, because sitting like this means my legs are very sweaty. Yeah, that's why I'm trying to turn it into maybe not funny, but at the very least, to an extent, trying to actively defang it by mocking it, and also pointing out that these are not the actions of a regime consolidating its power. These are the actions of a regime that can see that they are wildly unpopular, that they do not have the mass support of the people, and that, in the case of Trump, seems to be remembering and or realizing for the first time that he's fucking mortal. Because I said it in last week's show, but there was a thing, I had a line I was fairly proud of that was something along the lines of like, this is not a powerful regime with its boot upon our necks, but a scared old man with an aspirin bruised hand desperately clutching at our throat while throwing wild blows with the other hand, hoping we don't notice how weak his grip is growing. Because, let's be honest here, Trump is old and seems to be losing his fucking mind. He's also, depending on who you check with, which basically means not the White House doctor, but in some stage of significant heart disease, which is why the aspirin thing isn't a joke. He's legitimately on aspirin therapy because his heart is not good because he does nothing but fucking eat McDonald's and not exercise, but whatever. And while he has what I would charitably describe as a cult of personality built up around him, it's just that. It's built up around him. And even then, it's really only the people who he's successfully conned into believing that he actually wants anything good for them. Most of the people backing him are just millionaires and billionaires, and even half of them fucking hate him. Like, think of the last time Elon Musk was actually directly involved with the US government. I mean, oh god, whose wife is it that he's allegedly seduced that was supposed to be his handler? Wasn't it Stephen Miller's wife? Like, there is a lot of fucked up shit, but I'm I very much try and make it so that my reporting is never focused on be scared of these things, because no, they want you to be scared of these things. Frankly, that's why folks like Aaron in the Morning are actively fucking dangerous, especially for trans people, because all she's doing and all people like her are doing, which I want to make it clear that, like, no, I'm not degendering her because I very much dislike her and don't trust her. I am referring to her ilk because what she and, like, Pink News and, to some extent, LGBTQ Nation, though their main issue is mostly using faulty sources and generative AI. I always forget her name, her first name, Cabralo. Another trans woman who does some amount of news reporting. All of them make a lot of their money off of scaring trans women and, frankly, getting them to pay for their journalism, for lack of a better, more apt descriptor, which annoyingly ends up meaning that there's less money to go towards, yes, Alexandra Cabral. I feel like there's an extra syllable in her name that I always screw up. Oh, no, isn't it Alejandra? Oh, goodness, did she finally block me? I don't ever interact with her, but I wouldn't put it past her. Or am I just being really bad at spelling? My brain, what is wrong with me today? I very specifically don't follow her well, I followed her for a little bit, but I very specifically don't anymore for a myriad of reasons, not the least of which being the fact that she is, like, generally... Oh, that's why, because I always miss the second A in her last name, because it's not Cabralo, it's Caraballo. Thank you. Yeah. Right, because her handle is just S-queer. Right. Yeah. So, one, because she's generally... she proclaims to be anti-generative AI, except that she keeps finding excuses to make ocean-boiling videos and reveal the fact that she pays $250 a fucking month to Google to use their ridiculous... I don't remember what their video generation engine is. Because Sora is the one for OpenAI. Vero, something like that. She also very openly just has thrown around the dead names of trans women that she does not like. Which, no, that's not okay. In any possible reality, I legitimately do not remember what Caitlyn Jenner's dead name is, because it doesn't matter the fact that she spends her money trying to actively legislate against our existence. It's not her name. I don't remember it anymore. I will refer to her by her fucking name. I might append a stupid little thing, like how I call Gavin Newsom Trump 3.0, or how I refuse to let Brainworm Bobby Jr. get away with trying to make people call him RFK, but, like, you do not dead name a fucking fellow trans woman. What the hell is wrong with her? She is not to be trusted, which is why I don't, so... she's in a similar boat with Aaron in the Morning and Pink News and LGBTQ Nation of just actively trying to use her platform for scaremongering in order to make money. Ooh, that's what I wanted to include in Pet Play. I keep forgetting to include a story about Conjured Inc. Okay, let's try this again, but with, good working audio this time. Oh, and making this not be on this screen. Yeah, thank you very much for watching the pre and post show. Yeah, I had to record this twice. Shish. You can schedule still here because it's on the screen. Thank you very much to April, Fragile Paper, Manfred, Pinball Witch, Pimento, Yalk, and Rose for supporting over on patreon.com/Fen. That's PHENN, and or coffee.com/Fen. I guess if you're seeing this on YouTube and you want to see these a couple days sooner, you can support over there. Also, just supporting on Patreon and Coffee helps me keep doing this. You can also find me over on Twitch at Fen of Lore, and Oh, right, my own website at fen.gay. I hope you enjoyed. I really do actually like doing these silly pre and post show things, mostly because I'm doing the stream anyway, so why not? Yeah. Hope y'all have a good day, night, whatever time zone it is for you all when you happen to see this. Bye!